With Jalen Brunson being out for the next 2 weeks, it's time for Karl Anthony Towns to step up and take Jalen Brunson's place in his absence. What's up, guys? It's your boy, Dariel. This video is going to be more of a stream of consciousness, if anything. We all know about the news of Jalen Brunson. He's going to be out for a minimum of at least 2 weeks, as per Sham's tweet yesterday. Those 2 weeks is the bare minimum. Me personally, I think he's going to be out for around 3 weeks. That's just basically how these things work. When Shams puts out a tweet saying that the player is going to be reevaluated in 3 to 6 weeks, that probably means anywhere between 7 to 8 weeks. Now, in this case, Jalen Brunson, Shams didn't say that the team is going to reevaluate his ankle sprain, so that's the good news. So he could actually be coming back within 2 weeks. But in the meantime, what does that mean for the Knicks? I think it's pretty obvious that Karl Anthony Towns is going to have to step up, and he's going to have to be the number one option, and he's going to have to be the guy in Jalen Brunson's absence. Now, one thing that I'm a little apprehensive about with Karl Anthony Towns is simple. I don't like his track history whenever he's the best player on the team. Whenever he's the best player on the team, his team doesn't really have a lot of success. And we can point towards the Minnesota Timberwolves days before Anthony Edwards really took that ascension. Anthony Edwards was drafted in 2020. So Anthony Edwards' rookie season, 2020, 2021, that is probably Karl Anthony Towns' last time as being the guy in the Minnesota Timberwolves, for the Minnesota Timberwolves organization, which I'm gonna do a deep dive into that in a little bit. But before we get into all that, let's talk about what Karl Anthony Towns has been doing as of late. So as of late for the season, he's averaging 24 points, 13 rebounds, 3.1 assists. He is averaging 8.7 field goals made on 16.7 field goals attempts. That equates to 52%. 3-pointers, he's averaging 2 3-pointers made on 4.9, which is basically 5 3-points attempted, which is 41.9%, which is 42%. The 3-point shot for Karl Anthony Towns, that's something that I was a little nervous about. I don't like him falling in love with the shot. I said since we made the trade that Karl Anthony Towns needs to average anywhere between 5 to 8 threes a game, and he's at number 5, right on the money. And I think that's a really good place for Karl Anthony Towns to be. Now, without Jalen Brunson this season, Jalen Brunson, he only missed 2 games this season so far before that nasty ankle sprain. The first game he missed was literally the beginning of this year, January 1st against the Utah Jazz. And then the second game he missed was against the Clippers just a couple days ago. But in the 2 games that Karl Anthony Towns has played in without Jalen Brunson, he's averaging 27 points, 15.5 rebounds, and 3 assists. 15.5 rebounds. Sheesh. Only 2 games. And one of them is against the Utah Jazz, so I don't want to go too crazy. In the game against the Utah Jazz, he had 31 points, 21 rebounds, 4 assists, 1 steal, 1 block. He was 10 of 20 from the field. And 3-pointers, he was 3 of 6 from the field. So that first game, January 1st against the Utah Jazz, that was beautiful. One can argue it's the Utah Jazz. They're kind of rebuilding, retooling, but I'm going to take it. The second game, which was more recently, 23 points against the Clippers, 10 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals. He was 8 of 21 from the field, which is 38%, and 3 of 7 from the 3-point line, which is 43%. One thing we should know with Karl Anthony Towns, just as of late, is just the way that he's moving, his mobility, his agility. It seems like the injuries that have been piling up this year with his knee, with his finger, sprained thumb, and the bone chip in his finger, it feels like it's starting to catch up. And then you can get into the argument of Coach Tibbs and his minutes that he plays his guys. He completely just runs them into the ground with 38 minutes or 41 minutes on November 16th. And that is definitely a possibility as to why this team seems like they're on their last legs, not even just Cat. Mikal Bridges, I don't know if conditioning is a part of the equation with him. OG is coming back from that right foot sprain that was really weird about a month ago. It was on the same night that the Luka Doncic trade went down. But going back to Karl Anthony Towns. So I talked to you about what he's doing this season, and I talked to you about what he's doing this season without our captain, Jalen Brunson. But now I want to do a deep dive into Karl Anthony Towns' career when he's looked at as the number one option, the go-to guy in the organization. And to do that, of course, we got to go back to the Minnesota Timberwolves days. Now, Karl Anthony Towns' rookie year, 2015, 2016, I believe that was Kevin Garnett's last year too. So that was cool. Kevin Garnett coming back to Minnesota and giving the keys, not giving the keys, but giving game to Karl Anthony Towns and, what the league is going to look like, what you need to look out for, all that good stuff. His rookie year, they finished 13th in the Western Conference with a record of 29-53. Again, Karl Anthony Towns' rookie year, everything is brand new. The amount of games being played, the travel, the level of competition. So as far as his rookie year, I'm not putting much to blame on where the Timberwolves landed at the end of the season, 13th seed with a record of 29-53 again. Okay, his sophomore year, 2016-2017. The Timberwolves ended again at the 13th seed with a record of 31-51. Sophomore year, Karl Anthony Towns has a little bit more experience, but still, sophomore year, he's still learning the ropes. He's still learning how to be a really good player in the league. He's still learning how to be the leader, the go-to guy within his own team. So I don't want to put too much blame on his shoulders for his sophomore season. So I'm not going to go crazy with that. His junior year, 2017-2018, the Timberwolves finished in the 8th seed with a record of 47-35. And this year, the Timberwolves actually made the playoffs. And in the playoffs, they faced off against the Houston Rockets in the first round, and I have those numbers right here for you. So in that playoff series, he averaged 15 points, 13.5 rebounds, and 2.2 assists in 5 games. If we break the games down by game 1, game 2, game 3, game 1 is all the way at the bottom. In that game, he had 8 points, 12 rebounds, 2 assists. He was 3 of 9 from the floor, as you can see here, 33.3%, and he was 0 of 2 from three-point line. In game 2, 5 points, 10 rebounds, 1 steal, 1 block, 2 of 9 from the floor, 1 of 3 from three-point line. In game 3, a lot better, 18 points, 16 rebounds, 3 assists, 1 steal, 2 blocks, 5 of 13 from the floor, 1 of 2 from three-point line. Game 4, 22 points, 15 rebounds, 2 assists, 9 of 15 from the floor, 0 of 2 from three-point line. And then in the series clincher where they lost, which is his best game, 23 points, 14 rebounds, 9 of 14 from the floor, 1 of 2 from three-point line. So as you can see here, each game he got better. As each game came and went, you could literally see the numbers going up. You could see the field goals attempts were definitely going up as well. 13 in game 3, 13 field goal attempts. Game 4, 15. Game 5, 14. But ultimately, they ended up losing in 5 games. Now, in his 4th year, 2018-2019, the Timberwolves finished in 11th with a record of 36-46. Now, I don't exactly recall what was going on with the Timberwolves at that time. Also, I should mention that the previous year where the Timberwolves won the playoffs against the Houston Rockets, Cat was definitely one of the pillars on the team, but that was when Coach Tibbs was the head coach of the team and Jimmy Butler was on that team. And if you guys remember, there were just a lot of stories coming out of that camp about Jimmy Butler, and then the one that's really popping out in my mind right now is that practice where Jimmy Butler, apparently he just called out everybody on his team, and then next thing you know, he's having a sit-down conversation with Rachel Nichols. I think even while practice is still going on, but the rumor is that Jimmy Butler took like all the scrubs on the team, like literally the 10th, 11th, and 12th man on the team, and there was a scrimmage, and Jimmy Butler just completely busted everybody's butt. And he made a speech about how Karl Anthony Towns, Andrew Wiggins, and maybe Zach LaVine was still on the team, how they just didn't have that passion, they didn't have that motivation to really be good players. And then in the 2019-2020 season, the Timberwolves went back down to the 14th seed with a record of 19-45. And then in the 2020-2021 season, which is Anthony Edwards' rookie year, they are the 13th seed with a record of 23-49. This is Anthony Edwards' rookie year, and I think this is the last time where you can look at Cat as being the number one option. Since Anthony Edwards' sophomore year, I think it's literally just been a trajectory and an ascension of being his team, and I think it was pretty obvious and apparent with the skills, with the talent, the athleticism, and just the way he plays the game. I think it was pretty obvious that as soon as Anthony Edwards was going to have at least one season under his belt, that this team was going to be his. I gave you the records of the Timberwolves in each season, where they landed within the Western Conference at the end of each season, but I didn't give you Karl Anthony Towns' numbers. So in his rookie year, he averaged 18 points, 10.5 rebounds, 2 assists, 7.6 field goals made on 14 field goals attempted, which equates to 54%. Three-pointers, he averaged 0.5 three-pointers made on 1 3-point attempted, so I don't even count that. But he did win Rookie of the Year. His sophomore year, it's a nice little jump. Actually, not little. It's a pretty big jump. He goes from 18 points in his rookie year to 25 points in his sophomore year. He goes from 10.5 rebounds in his rookie year to 12.3 rebounds in his sophomore year. 2.7 assists. He is averaging 9.8 field goals made on 18 field goals attempted, which is 54%. Three-pointers made is 1.2 on 3.5 3-points attempted, which is 36.7%. Now his third year, it goes down. His sophomore year, he's averaging 25 points, and then his junior year, he's averaging 21 points, 12 rebounds, 2.5 assists. He's averaging 8 field goals made on 14 field goals attempted, which is 54.5%. Three-pointers, 1.5 three-pointers made on 3.5, which is 42%. 2018-2019 season, which is his fourth season, he has a bump up. He goes to 24.5 points, 12.5 rebounds, 3.5 assists, 1 steal, 1.5 blocks. He's averaging 8.8 field goals made on 17 field goals attempted, which is 52%. He's averaging 1.8 three-pointers made on 4.6 three-points attempted, which is 40%. In his fifth year, he's averaging 26.5 points, 11 rebounds, 4.5 assists, 1 steal, 1 block. He's averaging 9 field goals made on 18 field goals attempted, which is 50.8%, 3.3 three-pointers made on 8 3-point attempted, which is 41.2%. Now, Anthony Edwards' rookie year, 2020-2021, Karl Anthony Towns is averaging 25 points, 10 rebounds, 4.5 assists, 1 steal, and 1 block. He's averaging 8.5 field goals made on 17.5 field goals attempted, which equates to 48.6%, 2.5 three-pointers made on 6 3-points attempted, which equates to 38.7%. And another question with Karl Anthony Towns is it's not a big question, but he does have moments in his career where availability has been a question. His rookie year, he played all 82 games. His sophomore year, he played all 82 games. His third year in the league, he played all 82 games. And then his fourth year, this is the first time where we see a little bit of a drop, but it's not even that big. He plays 77 games in his fourth year. His fifth year, this is the biggest drop. He plays only 35 games. Sixth year, he plays 50 games, which is Anthony Edwards' rookie year. And then after his sixth year, the 2020-2021 season, he plays 74 games, he plays 29 games, he plays 62, and then currently this year he's at the 56 game mark. So as far as durability with Karl Anthony Towns, the question is there, but it's not as serious as other players that I can point out to. So now that I give you all of those numbers, now that I gave you the facts of how well he was playing during the season, I also gave you the numbers of what that meant for the team, where they landed. In this earlier part of his career with the Timberwolves, they were the 13th seed. They were the 14th seed. They were the 11th. And that year where they made it to the playoffs, they ended up getting pretty much smacked and waxed in 5 games. So it was a nice experience for Karl Anthony Towns, but what has he done with being the main guy on the team? And another question that I have with Karl Anthony Towns, man, is I'm just not 100% trustworthy in his decision-making. How is Karl Anthony Towns going to react when the coverage of him in the playoff series, in the middle of a playoff series, changes? When it goes to single-man coverage to maybe goes to double. And when I see Karl Anthony Towns put in a position where he has to make basketball decisions, passing out of the double team, I don't know, man. I don't have the trust in Karl Anthony Towns. And this is what I've been saying ever since the trade was announced. He's going to be great in the regular season, but it's all going to matter in April. And April is right around the corner, and I'm just not sure exactly what that's going to look like for Karl Anthony Towns. Thankfully, Jalen Brunson is going to be back. He's probably going to be back. He's probably going to play a couple of games, 2 or 3 games before the playoffs actually start. But besides Mikal Bridges, which is another video that I can come out with, Karl Anthony Towns 100% is one of the pillars in this team. He is one of the engines that's going to make this team go. We're going to go as far as Karl Anthony Towns takes us. Jalen Brunson, I have all the utmost confidence in the world that he's going to do his part. Hopefully, depending on the defensive schemes that the opposing team throws at us, hopefully they don't double him and just take the ball out of Jalen Brunson's hand for the entire of the series. Hopefully, Jalen Brunson is going to be able to do his job, which I know he will. But when the lights get bright and the pressure rises, that's where I have the question with Karl Anthony Towns. So Playoffs are right around the corner. We have around, I think, 19 games remaining. I'm recording this on a Sunday. Tomorrow we're going to be in Sacramento. Jalen Brunson is still going to be out. He's going to be out for the next 2 weeks. So this is another amazing opportunity for Karl Anthony Towns, Mikal Bridges, and Deuce McBride to step up to the plate. We got the back-to-back losses in LA against the Lakers and the Clippers. So it's go time. It's go time. We need everybody to step up. I hate to sound like a broken record or sound like a cliche, but it really is next man up mentality. So Cat goes from being the number 2 option, and he's going to slide to that number 1 option. And Mikal goes from, I don't know what he's been doing this whole entire season. He goes from that to hopefully he really starts to make his way as being the number 2 option in the team. More field goal attempts, just being more aggressive, more looking for his shot, creating plays for himself. There's just a lot. There's a lot here with this team, but guys, I want to say thank you for checking out this video. I know it's a bit lengthy one, but this was more of like a stream of consciousness video of giving you facts, giving you the facts of when Karl Anthony Towns is put as the best player of a team, what does that look like? What are the results? What are the results in the regular season? What are the results in the playoffs? So leave it in the comments. Let me know what you guys think about Karl Anthony Towns, the numbers that I gave you with him in the playoffs. Let me know what you guys think about Karl Anthony Towns being able to step up to the plate in this upcoming playoffs. But until next time, I mean, you guys know the drill. You guys know the vibes. New York or nowhere, New York forever. Queens or nowhere, Queens forever. Queens get the money. Queens get the money long time, no cash. I could give you all that good stuff. But most importantly, Jalen Brunson for a speedy recovery. Jalen Brunson, we need you back, my guy. Everything else, the dudes, the OG and Anobi, I'm going to put that to the side because Jalen Brunson for a speedy recovery is the most important. But I'll check you guys out in the next video. Peace. Queens, baby.